Hello and welcome to the latest Friday afternoon live with Accountancy Age. I'm Kevin Reid. I'm drinking a bottle of Birra Moretti here in the Two Sportsmen in sunny Soho. What a wonderful Friday afternoon it is. Let me run through what our key stories are for the past week. We'll talk a little bit about HMRC service standards that the taxman has kindly released around how advisors should work. Company House and Companies House data cleansing concerns. We'll also discuss the new digital officer that will have to be coming into the taxman in the upcoming weeks and months. Let's talk about these service standards first. So basically, the HMRC has issued a set of standards that it expects accountants and tax advisors to follow in order to kind of meet basic tax compliance for, I guess, itself and it's the behaviour of the advisors, and also make sure that clients pay the right tax. Now, some of the things that HMRC have said are pretty interesting, is one way of putting it, I think. Keep correct and up-to-date knowledge of the areas of tax that you deal with. Now, if you're a half-decent tax advisor, I'd expect you to be doing that. They also talk about complying fully with tax law and regulations and dealing courteously and professionally with HMRC staff. I think advisors may well laugh about this, particularly when we think about HMRC's own service standards. We had a tax charter from the taxman several years ago, that got reprised and then filed back in the bottom of a dusty filing cabinet. And with so many issues that the taxman has itself, I think this is, quite frankly, pretty rich. I don't quite understand what they're trying to achieve. They have lots of rules and regulations and statute in place in terms of moderating the behaviour of tax advisors and their clients. So a little bit of a red herring, that one, folks. Moving on to slightly more real matters, slightly concerning. Companies House is looking to reduce the number of records that it holds at the moment, and for cutting this down from 20 years to 6, which would result in more than 2.5 million records being lost. Tom Watson, who's Labour's deputy leader, has warned that that such a move would make it difficult to deal with tax avoidance and corruption. And why delete these earlier? Surely, holding these kind of records wouldn't take more than a couple of floppy disks for you old timers out there. One wonders if it's actually more to do with legal issues, perhaps, that Companies House is facing. Maybe they're getting threats from people to expunge these records from history. Personally, I think if people are doing that, I'd treat them with great suspicion and ask why they want these things removed from the public view. When we think about data, obviously security is a key issue, but we also think about transparency. And I also wonder if other data service providers will be licking their lips on this front, particularly if they're allowed to retain the data themselves. It will involve the likes of tax advisors and accountants perhaps having to use more services from data services providers if they can't access this information from Companies House for free. So a bit of a strange one. Now, I don't quite get where Companies House is coming from. Moving swiftly on. HMRC's digital transformation plans have taken a bit of a blow. Mark Durnley, its Chief Digital Officer, is leaving HMRC next month. Now, obviously, we're at a really crucial point in the tech history of HMRC. They're going through a transition phase to move away from their mega Aspire IT contract to a more disseminated way of dealing with technology, doing more stuff in-house and smaller contracts. We're obviously all very aware that digital tax accounts are looming in the background. So obviously his departure is going to be a bit of a blow. And the Public Accounts Committee recently said that the new model of IT provision by HMRC remained a substantial undertaking. Now, when it comes to digital tax accounts, this is going to happen. And the shift away from mega contracts is definitely the way in which the public sector is moving. But it's a transition that needs to be managed really, really carefully. And can service improve during this transition phase? That's, again, very questionable, particularly when we're looking at a new IT director coming into place. I interviewed HMRC's first CIO, Steve Lamy, many years ago, back in 2005. He was very candid about the issues that HMRC faced. It appeared that he was allegedly muzzled after a couple couple of quite frank conversations he had in the public domain. So, you know, the Taxman has many issues as far as tech is concerned, and it's really worrying that they're losing another senior technology head. A couple of other things going on. Accountancy Age is hosting a live seminar on 30 August where we're going to talk about developing your value-added services coherently, sensibly and strategically, and that's sponsored by MG Scanner. We're delighted to have those guys on board with us. As wonderful is Carl Reeder from British Accountancy award-winning firm D&T, and equally wonderful Bobby Lane from Shelley Stock Hutter. They're going to be sat on the panel and talking about how you develop your services, so I think that's a must view for practitioners. What else is going on? We're kind of moving towards the British Accountancy Awards judging process, and we'll look in September to release that shortlist, and hopefully the Accountancy Age Top 50 plus 50 survey of firms will be released in the next couple of weeks as well. So lots going on, folks. I hope you have a great weekend. Try and get out in the sun, get yourself a cold beer this afternoon, have a good weekend, and see you next week for Friday Afternoon Live.